Here's the thing. When something like that happens, these like interracial killings, the only thing you're allowed to say as a white person is, well, if the shoe were on the other foot, there would be outrage. You know, that's the only thing you're allowed to say. They say, if it was George Floyd, people would be marching, rioting. When a white kid is killed, no one does anything. Right. Yeah. And I said, you know, but that's really not saying anything. You know, that's a sentiment which it really just says, well, the left is hypocritical. There's a double standard on race. But it doesn't really express, in my opinion, what white people are feeling. What white people are feeling is, why are we putting up with this stuff? Right. You know, and it's like you said, you move to a white neighborhood, you make money. We live in America. It's 21st century. We don't want to deal with these problems. Right. And it just so happens that it is these young black adolescents that's doing it in Chicago and wherever. And so I went on my show after that killing and said, you know, like, we're just kind of done with that. We don't want to live near this. Because here's the problem as a white person. You can either be Daniel Penny or Austin Metcalf. You can either be someone that takes a stand and defends yourself, or you make a rash judgment and you're either in jail or you're a racist. If you defend yourself, you get charged with murder by a liberal DA, or if you're wrong, then you're a white supremacist, racist, you're super judgmental, you're canceled.
Yeah, you can't just be a white guy who made a mistake.
Exactly, exactly. And then on the other side, if you're not racist enough or not careful enough, if you're Austin Metcalf, you make the mistake of confronting the wrong black adolescent, you're dead. You forfeit your life. And if that's how it's going to be, who wants to live in that neighborhood where you're walking down the street at night and you look over your shoulder, if you cross the street, and it's a good black person, you're a racist. If you don't cross the street and they're a predator, you're dead. It's no win situation, right? So,
a predator.
Tell you this.
Well, you know, a predator, opportunist.
I mean, that's perfect adjective, predator.
You know, because obviously not every black person's a predator, and but there are these opportunists that are they're crawling the streets at night looking for people, not paying attention, young girls, young men. Yeah. And so I said on my show, I said, white people don't want to live near black people. If that's what it's,
okay. Clip.
I don't want to live around black people. I just don't. It would be irresponsible if I had a wife and kids to live near black people. It just would be. And that's not to say that every black person is violent. It's not to say that every black person is the same way. But we watch the news. We read the papers. When you drive downtown in Chicago, you know who you got to look out for and worry about when you're thinking about whether you're going to get carjacked, when you're worried about catching a stray bullet, when you're worried about who's going to pull up on the side of the road and literally shove a rifle in your face and steal your iPhone or shoot you point blank, execution style, in Lincoln Park. We know who's doing it. I don't want to live near them. I don't want to be near them. They make me nervous. That's a survival instinct. And the way this story unfolded, it's sort of interesting. Apparently, this white student, this Austin Metcalf, confronted a friend of the killer, presumably black also, and said something like, hey, you're sitting in the wrong spot. You're in my spot, something like this. And that's when the black guy jumped in and stabbed him to death. Unfortunately, we just don't know. When you're on the subway, when you're driving in your car, when you're in the city streets, you don't know whether the black person in proximity to you is one of the good ones or one of the ones who is going to summon an unbelievable, I mean, literally, for people like us, an unthinkable level of spontaneous brutality, senseless and merciless violence in an instant. We don't know. There's ambiguity. You're sitting on a subway. You look across. You see someone acting strange or aggressive. Is this someone who is going to pull out a knife and in 2 seconds slit my throat and kill me? Or is this just someone who's having a bad day? We don't know. I'm not willing to risk my life to find out. It's not worth it to me. I'm not willing to put myself in a position to find out.
Scott Adams couldn't have said it no better himself.
Hey everybody, it's your only 2 favorite black guys, and we got a new favorite giveaway. This Jeep Rubicon, candy apple red. Yeah, lifted. Yeah, fully loaded. Hey fellas, women love Jeeps. This is crazy. And the reason why we do this, because y'all support us. So we're gonna support you. You know, we're some good guys. Even if we are black, we like to give back. Y'all support us, so we give back to y'all. Who else doing this? Ain't nobody doing that. But y'all are paying my bills, I ain't gonna lie. Y'all want me on food stamps like all the rest of them niggas? I'm working for my money. Go to officialhodgetwins.com. Anything you buy on our site, get you automatically entered to win all our giveaways. No purchase necessary. All input prohibited. See official rules for details. Yeah.
Because what you was pretty much trying to explain to everybody, you're talking about urban black neighborhoods. I don't want to live in an urban black neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't want to.
Black people that become rich and famous, they don't want to live there neither.
Yeah.
But it's a problem when you say it.
Yes, right, exactly.
Nobody wants to live in the hood.
Nobody.
The
And those
poor
things
people-
happen in the hood to black people all the time.
Yeah, poor people who live in the hood, they don't want to live there, but they have no options. They don't have no means to get out. So
They stuck.
I don't know. I remember I was in the Marine Corps. I lived in San Diego. I was like 1920, and I lived in a black neighborhood. I came out because I would leave to go to work at like 4 in the morning. There's a bullet hole in the side of my Geo Metro.
Yeah.
Had a lime green Geo Metro. That's how I learned how to drive a stick.
Yeah.
And it had a bullet hole in the side of it.
Yeah.
I get in the car, I turn around, I go up to the stop sign, which is maybe about 100 feet away, so I can get on the freeway. There's a prostitute right there. And she looked at me like this, and then she said, I was like, she must have just got done sucking somebody off. And I lived in black neighborhoods, and I was like, when I was growing up, I said, man, when I get the money, I'm going to go live in the white neighborhood.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Black people don't want to live in black neighborhoods. But it's only problem when white people say it, though.
Right. Well, and here's what I always say. The problem is not black people's blackness, which is the issue. If you guys move next door, it wouldn't be a problem because I know you guys are going to be gangbanging or whatever. But
hey, let me push back on it. I wouldn't. If I was you, I wouldn't trust me.
Yeah.
Some things you just can't deny. I mean, we still got that gene.
Well, if I just saw you,
I'm not homeless.
I wouldn't trust that. Yeah. But the problem is that, unfortunately, a stereotype, which is based in reality, is that when you live in a black neighborhood, you're going to get this set of problems. You're going to get violence. You're going to get mayhem, chaos. And it's not even just that. It's just rudeness, people being inconsiderate. And if people associated with black people with being friendly, being kind, being peaceful, no one would have an issue. People say, oh, great, black people moving in the neighborhood. This is awesome. Property value is going to go up.
That's not what's going to happen.
No. So, that's the issue. And I said that, and Jason Whitlock, he's super Christian, as am I. And he said, well, this is an attempt to incite racial hatred between white and black people, to divide up the races with this, with this incendiary rhetoric. And I said, look, here's the problem. You can reconcile white and black people with Christianity. But in my opinion, that happens second. What has to happen first is law and order. Unfortunately, you have this cycle in America where you have very good laws, safety, you have police are active enforcing the law. And then you get the activists that come in and say, oh, there's too many black people in jail, too much police brutality. So people say, all right, we're going to ease up. We're going to, mass incarceration is a problem. Police brutality is a problem. We're going to let them go. Then the violence gets out of control. Then you get, the crack epidemic. Then you get, the 80s, 90s. People go, it's out of control. We need the crime bill. We need the cops back on the street. We need stop and frisk. So then it's good for, 20 more years. Some people say, police are racist. We got to get rid of the cops.
I think that was a good law they passed.
It
Stop
is.
and frisk, it is. To get criminals
100%.
on the street.
Yeah, but this is the cycle. It's like this amnesia where it's that classic meme. Good times create weak men create bad times. Sort of like good crime laws create good times. Good times make people think the crime laws are racist, and then
There you go.
the cycle repeats.
Right.
So so what I'm saying is, enforce the laws. And by the way, the biggest beneficiary would be the black people themselves. It's like you said. Who's hurt by this? Occasionally it's white people. But the vast majority of people that are killed are black people.
Right,
The people that live in poverty are the black people. It's those neighborhoods that can't have a Walmart because of all the shoplifting. So you enforce the laws. Unfortunately, there's going to be disproportionate, representation. There's going to be more blacks in jail. But you got to arrest every lawbreaker. And then once you get the worst of the worst off the streets, the worst predators, opportunists, then you can reconcile the people with Christianity. But, if you want to evangelize to these people in Chicago, I mean, be my guest. But I don't think you're going to get through. When you see these videos, unfortunately, a lot of them are just lost. And,
I mean, they made a whole show around that. First 48? That's a documentary of the culture of black folks. Have you seen it?
No.
You haven't seen the first 48?
No.
It's on
that show made me racist.
It's like it's the first 48 hours. They just track the point where somebody's killed and the first 48 hours of the investigation. Primarily, you see black people killing black people. But there are some white people.
Yeah, like 1 out of every 100. Yeah, but it's predominantly just...
Oh, I mean, of
and
course.
they're killing
of
each
course.
other over the most trivial things. It's just... It's shocking.
Yeah, the reason why black people have something against your message that you showed is because they don't believe that black people are dangerous any more than white people. They actually think you are being racist by making those accusations that don't exist, but they're 100% factually true. That's why what you said does not bother me at all. I know it's true.
Yeah. Because you pretty basically talking about I'm a black male. He has a problem with and me being a black male, we can't stand this either.
I mean, Chris Rock had a famous joke.
Yeah.
And it was funny as hell when he said it, but...
Let's go to that tweet, man. You made a great point when y'all was going back and forth. Jason Whitlock said, every bit as godless and stupid as your critics say. You're Ray Epps 2.0, I can't say it, pointing foolish believers
Shut up, you fucking dumb. I can't see it.
I can't
Let me see it. I can see it. You're every bit as godless and stupid as your critics say. You're Ray Epps 2.0, pointing foolish believers into a building that will burn them down for eternity. Many of the people captured by the wickedness of black culture can claim ignorance. You know exactly what you're doing, demon. See, I don't think it's ignorance of the black community. You can't teach a conscience. You can't teach that. The enemy is paying people on social media to promote racial division and conflict. The aftermath of Austin Metcalf, Carmelo Anthony is a psyop.
I don't think that's a psyop.
No, don't fall for it. Stand on the word. Rebuke any so-called believer and not pointing to Christ.
Don't you think in his message, in a roundabout way, he's saying black people are incapable of a rational thought and white people are superior, so we're going to give them a pass? Pretty much he's saying black people are inferior to whites with that message. Because I don't think they can claim ignorance.
Right. Yeah.
Black people are not vegetables. They know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And that's sort of the issue is, you have this new breed of conservatives where they want to hide behind the cross. They're pushing like a BLM, woke. It's exactly like you're saying. They used to call it the soft bigotry of low expectations, reverse racism, whatever. And now you have conservatives with the exact same mentality, which fundamentally means blacks have no accountability.
Right.
Like you said in the tweet, they can claim ignorance. What does that mean? It means they're not culpable. They're not responsible. They have no agency. We can't blame them.
Their IQs are very low.
Right.
They can't help themselves. When they rob somebody, they steal a car. They're wired that way. I don't know. Hey, I think your response to him, I loved your response. What you said.
So tired of hearing that black crime is caused by black culture. For some reason, rap music doesn't make white people steal cars and shoot people. Yeah. It only works on black people.
That was a great response.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean,
and it made me rejudge the things I'm saying. I keep saying about black people. Yeah. Man, it's our culture, it's the music, it's in the movies, but that's just an excuse.
Yeah, and he's coming from this point of view that you're teaching white people to be racist. Everything you're saying, they already thinking it. You just got the balls to say it.
Right. Yeah.
So you're not, white people know what's up.
Yeah.
They do.
Yeah.
I knew what was up when I was like 12 years old.
Right.
I said, I'm going to play with Scott. I'm not playing with freaking Tyrone over there. I mean, the first gun that was ever put on me was at 12 years old, and it was a black kid, and we were on the basketball team together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Going into basketball practice.
Yeah. That's crazy.
You
I
know
still
that?
remember that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's true. That's what I intend to do with the show is, I mean, I'm expressing my opinion, but I'm also speaking for a lot of people that don't want to offend or they don't want to get canceled. And unfortunately, as far as we've come, because people have woken up a lot on a lot of different issues, people are still paralyzed out of fear of being called racist, saying the wrong thing, offending people. And the reality is that I think that race, it's one of those things you're never going to fully bridge that divide. You know, you have white people, you have black people. They're different. They identify differently. And this idea that we're going to be so Christian, we're going to overcome that, or so American, I don't think it's going to happen. And that doesn't mean we have to hate each other. I think we could live in harmony. And I think, you know, we could strive for understanding and empathy. But, you know, the idea that the only reason we're set in conflict is because of racists dividing us or the media or the culture, it's just not true. People are tribal. It's who we are. It's in our genetics. And nothing's going to change that.
I
think this one Carmelo Anthony case, it really, you know, it should open a lot of people's eyes how tribal we can be, because when Daniel Penny, what happened with him on the subway with that Michael Jackson impersonator, a lot of white people came to his aid. A lot of people came to his aid and donated money to him to help him in his defense, which I understand why. I don't think it was a racist. I don't think then it was because they're racist. But then you look at Carmelo Anthony, where here's a black kid who obviously did something wrong. He should have never had that knife. But you see a lot of black people defending him, not because he was right. It's because they're defending him because he's black.
Yep.
Almost $500,000 they found.
Yeah, it's up to $500,000.
Yeah, but if the shoe was on the other foot, the circumstances was the same, just the races were reversed, white people would not embrace what
exactly.
happened.
That's the difference I want to point out when it comes to black and white. Culturally, I mean, spiritually, I mean, you go on Facebook, TikTok, it's black people, black pastors defending that kid's
They're comparing
actions.
Carmelo Anthony to Rosa Parks.
Yep.
I mean, they're not even comparing apples to oranges. They're comparing apples with hairy nuts. it's like low IQ, low capacity.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can really call
Yeah,
it.
no. Yeah.
nuts.
They trying to say
Self-defense.
self-defense.
Right.
Like, and they even brought up the accusation that if you tell somebody to leave, that's bullying.
Right.
I was like, how did you reach that point when you consider that bullying?
Yeah.
You have
I'm
to
on
be
TikTok and I'm
mentally
looking at
stupid.
everybody's reaction
Yes.
about what happened.
Well, it's like you said, it's
between
just pure-
Metcalf and
Okay.
Carmelo Anthony, right? And the black reaction is what you expect.
But white people, obviously not all of you, so let me just get that out the way. But a bunch of y'all are just a bunch of racist, bigoted crisis actors.
People really believe that kid had the right to tell Carmelo to move. This kid wasn't working security. He wasn't given no responsibility. He wasn't the seat manager. Like, if that kid would have just minded his own business, would he or would he not still be alive?
Officer got unalive. A lot of people are trying to make it a race issue, and it's not. It has nothing to do with that right there. This was self-defense.
And this is
crazy.
all over TikTok. I see a lot of posts on Facebook talking about this is self-defense.
Yeah.
From one demographic of people.
Yeah, it's all black people.
Did he have any injuries?
Do you see his
This kid?
mugshot? Clean face, nothing.
No scratches, no nothing.
No punches were thrown from what I heard so far. Yeah, it's something wrong with the black community.
I was like, man, you can't be this dumb.
Man, if that was self-defense, the murder rates would go up. You could kill somebody for anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
imagine
right.
look, what horrible precedent that was set. Okay, what? Do something, I'll kill you. Or do something. No, get out.
Stab me, you stupid fuck.
I don't have it in me. That's why I didn't respond. I'm done. I guess it's my white side talking to me, but that's crazy, man. It's just that whole case is like, man, I just lose all hope, especially when it comes to the black community, because like, why would y'all even put y'all's name, your brand behind defending a kid who obviously is wrong.
Yeah.
Dead wrong.
Well, it's base tribalism. You know, it's like you said, they're sticking with this guy because he's black. And I think what is barely concealed is a contempt for white people, which is, you know, it's like a racial pride thing. When they say Rosa Parks, they say, oh, the era of white people telling black people you're in the wrong seat is over. You know,
Exactly,
what's next? A white woman's going to touch a black woman's hair and she's going to get stabbed in the face, you know? Shot in the chest. Right. Don't touch my hair. You can't touch my hair.
Your black voice is better than my black voice.
So I practice it more.
Oh, my mama, I kill you. Oh, my mama.
Yeah.
But Jason Whitlock, like politically, I align with him a lot. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think he's showing way too much empathy for the black community because he is black. Yeah. And I've been through that, and I was like, you know what? I'm done with that. I'm just going to stand for what's right, and if what's right that's what I'm going to stand on. So
Yeah. And I like him. He's a good guy. I was very positive towards him because initially I disagreed with him. I was very positive. I said, you know, I respect him a lot. He's Christian. I agree. Like you said, I agree with him so much. And then he just had this nasty calling me a stupid demon, saying I'm sending people to hell. So uncalled for. But that is another stereotype, is this like crybaby thing that black people do. A lot of it's like an ethnic narcissism. And it's like you said, it's a bit of a blind spot where, you know, a black conservative can be right on 99% of things, but when it comes to race, they want to take their ball and go home. When it comes to race, they want to be a crybaby, play the victim, and I think that's all it is, a blind spot. A lot of white people have it too. Right. And not even to be that guy, but in fairness, there's an equal amount of people that I know, white nationalist types, very proud. They'll be the first ones to blast black people and their behaviors. You talk about some of the behaviors of lower class white people, they say, oh, you're against white people, you're against your own kind. It's like, let's be honest, you know? Let's just be honest about who we are, who the other is. So yeah, that's what I'm about. Just, you got to be honest.
I think of what happened with Carmelo Anthony. I could speak from experience. Growing up as kids, we just had this natural hostility towards white people because of the past and what black people have been through.
What our parents been through.
And what our parents been through.
Every day.
Stand up for yourself. Don't let no white people push you around. So I think what happened was he was sitting there. I'm just speculating. And then some white kid tells him to get up and move. And it's that's what caused this whole issue.
Overreaction.
It was race. I think it was race.
Yeah.
If they're both black or both white, this doesn't happen.
Right.
I guarantee it.
Totally.
Right.
Just because he's black and we come up and we're raised with this natural hostility towards white people, that's why that happened.
Yeah.
That's why it happened.
Yeah. I don't know why. He went to a rival school. I don't know what the area is like, but he's walking around with a knife. I never did that when I was in school.
Frisco, I think, is pretty rough.
Yeah.
I may be wrong on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. It's a pride thing, you know, because you could totally imagine how that went down. The guy was like a white football Chad, you know, handsome guy comes up and says, hey, pal, you're in the wrong area, you know, or puts his hands on him, something like that. I'm sure some black kid saying, I'm not taking shit from this white guy. And I, you know, I don't know that he intended to kill him necessarily.
I don't think he did. Why else would you stick a knife in your chest? That was nuts.
Yeah. Have you read the police report?
Yeah, I did.
They never recovered the weapon, right?
I don't think so, no. Yeah, but it's this impulse thing. That's the problem, is these impulsive behaviors where, you know, I'm sure in the moment, but when I say, obviously, if you stab somebody, it's a lethal weapon. Like you can't say I didn't know it could kill somebody, but I'm sure in the moment, that split second, he did the first thing. And now his life is ruined. I mean, deservedly so, obviously, but that is the issue. And I think that is the genetic aspect that people don't talk about. I think that I don't think anybody would disagree. Black people or white people, who has a greater propensity for violence? I think on a genetic basis is black people. In the same way that between Asians and white people, who has a greater propensity for violence? I think definitely white people, you know, and that's just another one of those differences. People attribute it to culture. I attribute it to genetics. It's one among others.
Asians, who has the higher IQs? It's Asian people. Then it's like white people. Then I guess it's Latinos.
Everybody else, and then black people dead last.
I mean, and that's a fact, correct?
Yeah, that's
From what
a fact.
I've read up on it, like black people, for whatever reason, and I think when you put anybody in a situation and they have a low capacity to grasp what's going on, that's who's going to commit the most murders,
Yeah.
regardless if they're white,
gonna
black,
make
or whatever.
yeah.
I just think there's I don't know, I hate to say it, but there's
Don't say it. I know what you're gonna say.
well, this is what I'll say. Low IQ, you can find it in all people.
Right.
I just think it's more prevalent in the black community.
Yeah, I think so too. It would explain the number of black people in prison, and IQ scores back me up on that. Affirms everything I just said. If you look at IQ scores, it predominantly tells you who's going to be
I
more
don't know
successful.
what's going on here. It's like this is all over social media, especially with like black women.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
The first thing they go for is that weave.
Yeah, that's low IQ right there. All the way.
Oh, yeah.
Why would you do that,
man?
That's hey Joe. I don't want to look at this.
You making this white man look at
gratuitous.
Joe swears up and down. I like black women that big. Oh man.
Hey, let me ask you this. Back to Whitlock's point. Do you think the record labels and the rap music has some part of the blame when it comes to the black community?
Certainly. I mean, it's certainly not helping. And I do think it exacerbates it because this is something my grandma always used to say. I've been in Chicago for generations. My family's been there. And, my ancestors were Italian immigrants, Italian, Irish, Mexican immigrants 100 years ago. And so my grandma grew up in the projects with many black people. And, she always used to say, that actually, she would look across the window in her project apartment or whatever, and she saw a black family across the way that was more functional than her own family. She said they would hold hands to say grace before they ate, and her household was up for grabs. So
That must made her feel really bad.
I'm sure, yeah, that's psychologically, right? But, by the same token, she encountered a lot of the same problems you see today, a lot of the same violence. She would get robbed or stuck up by black people in the city. But everybody recognizes anybody who lives with black people in the cities will tell you there is a generational difference that the older black people, in many cases, they couldn't even read. My grandma had a school. They taught cops how to shoot their guns. It was a security school. And so they would license security guards, cops, do firearms training. And they would train up black people that sometimes couldn't read. They were from the Jim Crow era from the South.
Right.
But she said they were very honest, very decent, very respectful, polite. So culture makes a huge difference. I don't think it's everything. It's certainly not nothing. And anyone that lived, anyone that had that experience living in a city with black people through the generations will tell you the exact same thing. There's certainly a generational component, but I don't think that explains all of it.
Yeah. Like all my aunts and uncles and my family, there wasn't a bunch of miscreants.
Yeah.
It was like polite.
They always
went to
wore
church.
they always wore suits.
Yeah, they always went to church on Sunday.
Right.
I remember
Like,
growing
there's
up.
an image. That's what black people used to dress.
Yeah. I mean, that was the common thing to do.
Yeah.
And now, liberals get hold of black people and just turn into progressives, and now this is what you got.
Yeah, I got a question. Do you think if just a hypothetical, what would solve a majority of America's problems? Say you as president.
Just set them up.
No,
This is a setup job.
I do not want to set you up. I feel guilty.
This
for trying
dude
to
is wearing
ask-
a wire.
What do you think would solve a majority of America's problems? I think, personally, for your answer, I think we listen to women too much.
Oh, yeah.
I think a big problem America has right now is we have too many women in power, and look what happened when we got too many women in power. We got men in women's bathrooms and that sports is just
Women
women
can't
just
even-
think different, so different than a man.
That's a huge part of it. I mean, you can start with women. You can go to the media. You can go to immigration. I mean, the problem is we can all recognize the country's been getting worse.
Yeah.
A lot of things, there was seismic changes 100 years ago. Technology, suffrage, more people voting, more people participating, a lot of immigrants from non-white countries coming here. Things are getting worse. and we're just doing the same things. It's like, you don't think maybe we put a pause on some of the things that have changed that might have led to some of these things? But I mean, the women's a huge part of it because, like you said, they think differently. They're way more empathetic, way more, and they're kind of just like suckers, you know? Like
I
men.
like how you said that. That was perfect. Suckers.
Because they're not necessarily dumb, although many of them are, but, you know, because some of them could be very smart, but they just don't have this quality that men have, where men will say, nah, that's bullshit. You know, you're lying. Women don't have that. Women will listen to any story, any sob story and go, oh, you know, filled with empathy and emotion. And when you look at who they vote for, this is like a red pill for me. When I was in high school, they said, I said, if you look at the election results, presidential election results, you separate it out by men and women. If only men voted, every state goes red. If only women voted, every state goes blue. All you need to know. That's all you need to know.
That's powerful.
And even today, the approval ratings with Trump, men overwhelmingly positive, women overwhelmingly negative. And we know Trump is right. We know the Democrats are wrong, you know, and these are like not difficult issues. Should a country have a border? Can a country run an infinite deficit? Can we have entitlements? You're paying people not to work. Like, no, we can't do any of these things. But women, they think that we can. And that's a huge source of the issue, certainly. The diversity is a big part of it. The anti-racism, you know, not for nothing, but those pictures you show, that was a time when the society was immensely racist. Seems like it was better for both sides, actually. And that's not to say, important distinction, it's not to say we're in, you know, because people like to say, make America great again. What, you mean slavery and lynching and, you know, racial hatred? It's like, no. Obviously, I'm not a sick person. I'm not a cruel person. I don't want to see people get murdered for their race or their ethnicity. But you know, what did change, now that people have to walk on eggshells, now that people are afraid to enforce the laws or tell the truth, now there's no rules. Now there's no accountability. You could say that maybe in the old days there was an excess of justice and it fell into cruelty. It fell into, you know, brutality. Now we have an excess of mercy. And you could see which one is worse. Certainly the excess of mercy and forgiveness, you get a lawless society. And I would rather be on the other end of a brutal cop than a brutal thug. And it's sort of an interesting distinction, right? Because you hear police brutality. Yeah, police can be brutal, certainly. I wouldn't want to be on the other end of that either. But would you rather be on the other end of the law that's brutal, or these young adolescent black men that are brutal, that will execute you for not even having to do with the theft? You know, I referenced a specific case. I said, who's executing people in Lincoln Park? There's a case where they mugged a guy in Lincoln Park, which is a nice white neighborhood, stole his iPhone, demanded the password, and then they shot the guy point blank execution style. Now, why do you kill this guy? You got his iPhone, you got the password, you got what you're looking for. Why then do you kill this guy? Shoot him in a defenseless person. That is far worse than any brutality from the police, you know, or from the state. Yet no one wants to talk about that brutality.
Here's our new giveaway. Get out of the way. Woo! That's beautiful, right? Dodge Challenger, Hellcat. Look at the tires. It's a V50 in this. It's supercharged. Wide body, it means it grabs the road. You can't flip this. Look how sexy this car is. You can look like Stephen Hawking and still pick up a chick in this car. Go to officialhodgetwins.com. Anything you buy on the site gets you automatic. Enter the win.
No purchase necessary. All word prohibited. See official rules for details. Yeah.